My dad passed away 7 years ago this week. It's Father's Day weekend. It would have been his 77th birthday. And it just has me reflecting on many of the conversations I have with our guests here on the Million Ways to Make $1 Million podcast. Without a doubt, we get into a conversation around some form of work-life balance. And what I realize is that his main priority was just being around or giving me his time. He'd built his life in such a way that I always felt like the priority, because the things that I remember most were the intentional times one-on-one that didn't take a whole lot of time. Every Saturday for 6 years, him and I went to breakfast together. McDonald's. We sat in the same booth and we just caught up on the week. It's some of my best memories in the world. And because he was around, I just learned so much. He taught me how to flip cars. He helped me buy my first rental property when I was 19. And most recently, I think of this experience I had with my kids. My daughter is homeschooling and she's a creative. She wants to learn how to use a camera and to create art through photography. And we've got Dawson who runs our marketing division. And so I thought, well, let's combine the two. Let's go do something fun. We set some time with Dawson to go take the helicopter to the top of the Superstition Mountains. And Dawson was going to give Miller this one-on-one photography lesson. And she was going to be able to catch the desert and all these beautiful views. My son Rome heard what we were doing and he said he wanted to go. And we went to the top of the Superstition Mountains and we brought Rome's golf clubs and some golf balls. And Rome was able to just launch golf balls off of the mountain and Miller was capturing it. We had this wonderful morning. But you know what I realized? That extreme morning, in their eyes, had no more value than when I took my daughter to a $5 free skate at the ice rink for 30 minutes. Or just her and I went and ice skated together. Or when I take my boys to go hit a $6 bucket of balls. It doesn't need to be extravagant. It doesn't need to be over the top. The most fond memories I have of my father, and I believe that my kids have of me, are when I set intentional time to be around when I'm not at the office or when I'm not building the business. My wife gave me a challenge this year, and it was to spend 10 minutes of uninterrupted time with each of my kids daily. And so for 30 minutes a day, and that doesn't seem like a lot, 10 minutes per kid. I have 3 kids, no phone, a lot of eye contact, no one else, no other distractions. But I look to pull my kids aside for 10 minutes a day. It's when I have the best conversations. I believe it's when we're strengthening our relationship the most. Our millionaire trash man, Garrett Larson, thought a lot like my father.
I loved that growing up. I remember I'd come home from preschool. And usually I could catch my dad on his second trip down to the valley, right when I got home from preschool. So I'd hop in the truck with him and we'd drive down and then we'd get back and I'd go have dinner and go to bed. He'd have dinner and hop in the roll-off truck, run the roll-off truck till midnight or so, and then be back up at 3, 4 a.m. to hop back in his truck and do his first load down to Phoenix and back.
Yeah.
And so it was really cool growing up, just seeing great work ethic, seeing guys work to build something for themselves and their family.
One of my buddies from high school, a one-man band doing 7 figures a month, spoke on integrating his family into business instead of viewing them as 2 separate lanes.
Well, my dad was a OBGYN in a small town, so he was busy as heck. My mom was his administrator. They were both gone all the time. So when he wanted to make money, he was gone. One of the things that was super important to me is that I was just around with my kids. I wanted to spend as much time with my kids, right? I wanted to be there for breakfast, be there for dinners, not miss the games, not miss the birthdays, not get the call outs when somebody needs something else, just to prioritize that in the time that I had. Although I picked up a lot of good value from him, it was still that traditional way of thinking that you can create wealth through only hard work. And one of the things I've learned by meeting with people like yourself, there's a million different ways that it can be done that create a great work-life balance.
Best-selling author and motivational speaker Garrett White spoke about how overworking wrecked a marriage and fatherhood, and that he had to rebuild from a foundation of family first.
So I knew the look, being the poor kid with a divorce under my belt and a son who is a PE teacher. In my attempt to become worthy for my wife, I ignored my wife and I became obsessed with money. I would just distract myself, focus on working more. I was meant to experience money, but money was not, couldn't be the driver for me. Didn't really come to terms with this and fix myself and be healed by God in that until the last 2 years. So I was a mess. And there was prompts that were coming in. It was like, hey, you've got to shift. There was an intuitiveness in me, but I wasn't listening. There was this ruthless commitment to become something worthy of my wife. because she wants you to be bigger and better. That's why she married you. She sees the king in you, but you've not been acting that way. She knows that she wants to be with you. She chose you, but you've not been the piece that she will love with, and you've gotten lost in the business and lost in your body and lost in life, and you're not showing up great as a husband and a father. And I understood what had happened to me. And I figured there had to be a way for a guy to make money and be an amazing man. Ignite a new vision for a bigger future. A man without vision perishes every time.
Who you're being when you're with your loved ones will have as great of impact as anything that I've found. I interview people that are up to stuff in the world. And in every conversation, I can feel it. They'll either tell me about regret or they'll tell me about alignment around prioritizing their relationships. And as far as I can see, and in my personal life, when I'm in alignment around my personal relationships, it fuels the other aspects of my life like nothing else I've ever found. I challenge you to pick 1 to 3 people and give them 10 minutes a day of uninterrupted attention. No phones, just you and them for the next 30 days, and watch what can happen.